everybody, welcome to the Comic Gear Movie Show. I am sorry. This is gonna sound weird. I'm sorry about the lighting situation. Right now, we're moving a lot of stuff about in my house, and like literally between work and all the stuff moving in my house, I just really haven't even had the space to record anything. This is the best space I can get in the entire house, or at least the only place with some good lighting in the entire house. Cause like, even if like, cause I'm in the process of buying one of those lights, but even if I bought it, there's just literally no space in the house to do anything right now. So this is probably the best I can do for the time being, but I wanted to get my review of Falcon and Winter Soldier out before it was, way too irrelevant. So I really wanted to get that out of the way. But this is my review of the Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 1, the New World Order. Now this takes place about 5 to 6 months, I believe they said 6, after the events of Endgame. And, everyone came back, and this show really is going to be about grappling with not only the legacy of Captain America and from Sam's perspective, but along with Bucky, the past. I've seen a lot of, it's kind of the benefit of making my video so late is I've seen a lot of other people's videos, and I've seen a lot of other points that other people have made that I'm like, yeah, they're totally right. Like, there are a couple of YouTubers who mentioned this point. At the beginning, at the top of the entire episode, you see Sam just kind of quietly contemplating to himself. It's a really quiet scene to start such an action-packed show. And you just see Sam thinking to himself, thinking about the word that Captain America said to him not too long, at this point, months ago. The last words Captain America said to him and why he gave him that shield, and Sam saying it feels like it's someone else's, and it's Cap saying it isn't. And him still struggling with the idea of being Captain America, because in Sam's mind, and like I'm kind of stealing this from certain other people, but at the same time I completely agree with them, he isn't worthy of being Captain America. He doesn't think anyone is worthy of being Captain America. He thinks that Captain America, Steve Rogers, is something that's unobtainable. That what Steve represented and what Steve meant to the world is unreachable, and he doesn't even want to. And he thinks, and in his own mind, he thinks that it's arrogant to even think that he could replace Steve. Later on in the episode, he talks about how symbols are meaningless without the men and women that give it meaning, or that are behind it that give it meaning. And in his mind, this symbol is Steve's. And no one should be Captain America, and he doesn't think he should be Captain America either, or just the weight and the burden of being that is just too much for him. And it cuts to this amazing Falcon action sequence, which is reminiscent of the original Captain America Winter Soldier, where Captain America had a quiet beginning. Like, if you remember Captain America Winter Soldier, it actually plays this. The entire beginning of the show actually plays like that, if you want to be on it, if we're looking at it, because literally in Captain America Winter Soldier was a quiet scene with Sam Wilson, and then it went right into this awesome, badass action sequence on a boat. But this action sequence takes place in a plane, and the same villain is the one who is trying to kidnap/rob something. Backdrop the Leaper, John St. I think is it John St. Pierre? I know JSP, one of the most badass French people that ever walked the face of the earth, aka one of the most badass UFC mixed martial artists to live, returns to play Backdrop the Leaper. And he's still donning purple and yellow. He had that in Winter Soldier. He had a purple and yellow jumpsuit, and in this he has a purple jacket with a yellow shirt. So Backdrop the Lipa. I feel like you have to put that little the Lipa on it because he's French. But and Backdrop and his group of, I think they're called LAF. Yeah, LAF. His group is like they're trying to kidnap some type of diplomat, I'm trying to remember what he was, some kind of colonel or something, to blackmail, something. He's trying to kidnap some colonel or something. Sam has to swoop in and save the colonel, and what ensues is this amazing aerial, just chase. It's an aerial chase. Because at a certain point, like, first of all, it was cool seeing Sam just kick ass in the beginning. But in the second of all, once the actual chase, when Backdrop and a couple of his men get in these like flying squirrel suits and jump out of this plane and start, you know, gliding down. Once that and starts like a chase. And they're like gliding through the canyons and shit. Like, this is like movie level CGI quality. Like, this is movie level stunts because, believe it or not, like, and I kind of know this for a fact because I remember people talking about this a long time ago. You gotta understand, Falcon and Winter Soldier was being filmed starting being filmed in 2019, dude. Like the sets and stuff, everything started being built for it in late 2019. Let me see, like, what would it be, like? November, December of 2019, like something like that. Like, they had been working on this shit for quite a while, and like, it was crazy. It was fucking nuts. Like I said, like, that they actually filmed real people. They had real people like doing this just flying squirrel thing. Like, some of those shots are actually real. Like, a lot, so like when you have real shots in there of people doing it, it once again suspends your suspension of disbelief even further, because you know that these are real people in these suits, and the CGI and special effects and whatnot are so good. There's never a moment where I don't think this is happening, and it's so good. It was such an awesome sequence, so unique, because there ain't nothing else. Like, you can look into the Marvel pantheon. The only other Marvel scene like this is the scene from Iron Man 3, which is probably one of the most underrated action slash stunt sequences in the entire MCU, is Iron Man catching all the passengers who are falling from this plane. One, because there were actual people dropped out of a plane, you know, the CGI Iron Man in, but there were actual people dropped out of a plane, and the camera people who jumped out of the plane recorded themselves falling, recorded these people as they're falling. You know, it's kind of like that stunt in Captain America Civil War, that move where Bucky was like dun dun dun. He jumped out of the window off his rooftop onto another rooftop, and the camera was like on his back all the way down. And then when you see the behind the scenes, you see the stunt man. Of course, he's got his wires, but jump out of this building, and you see the camera guy jump out of the building with him. Like I say, man, people don't give the MC, like, yes, they have a lot of CGI. There's a lot of major, huge stunt work being done, especially in the Captain America universe, where they like to keep things a bit grounded. And that stunt sequence at the beginning is no exception. It was amazing. It was beautiful. Loved it. Chef's kiss. But then we cut back to Sam at DC at the Captain America. I don't even know what they called it, but it's kind of like a Captain America memorial, I suppose. It's a part of the Smithsonian. Yes, Captain America isn't a part of the Smithsonian. He has his own entire he's not like, there's like a lot of people have a section, like a tiny little section and, you know, little thing. No, Captain America has an entire building dedicated to him because of the things he's accomplished and done. And Sam's given this beautiful speech, and he decides to give him the shield to the memorial. He decided this shield should never be used. This should be something that's put in a glass case and marveled over. And, you know, there is definitely some allegory there to putting things and people on pedestals. Because Sam basically has put Cap on and it's something that's interesting. He's put Cap on such a high pedestal that he can't see himself being Captain America. I believe this show is going to be completely about him accepting this role. Awesome cameo from Rhodey. Rhodey was in the audience. War Machine Rhodey was in the audience. It makes sense. Him and Sam have such similar backgrounds from being both military men. I believe Sam was he was an air rescuer. Like, you know, he was, I think that's what they call it. But they're both veteran military men. They both had best friends who were founding members of the Avengers. They both come from similar backgrounds, and they're friends. And, you know, Rhodes just there to support him, but he also asks him, he's like, why didn't you accept this shield? You know, so it must be very well known amongst the actual superhero community, you know, the surviving Avengers, that Cap chose Sam to be the next Captain America. Which is good, because it kind of establishes, too, that once Sam does show up in the other movies as Captain America, it won't be a shocker. It would be like, okay, so people do know he gave him that shield and told him to be Captain America. So that means a lot of them do know where Cap is, by the way. Because it's kind of a running joke throughout the scene is like them talking about where's Cap. But yeah, Rhodey asks him that, and you know, the whole time they're talking, which is very symbolic and very well shot, they're walking through like the exhibit, just walking through all this Captain America history. They're standing in front of all the propaganda Captain America posters with him stepping on Hitler and all these different things. They're standing in front of all these, like they're literally walking through it. And you can almost visibly see like Sam being like, I can't live up to all that. I can't be this guy. I can't do that. And like Buck, and, you know, like, so it's so interesting, and you know, you can visibly feel the weight of that shield on Sam. Meanwhile, Bucky's having nightmares. You know, he's having nightmares about his missions. There's an awesome Winter Soldier mission. I hope you get to see more flashbacks of that, because you could do those for a long time, honestly, because he's been around doing it for like 80 years. But this is awesome Winter Soldier mission. He kills a bunch of people, and then like there's this innocent guy who wrong place, wrong time. He's so nervous he can't get his key in the door. Maybe if he could have got his key in the door and opened it and went in, he'd have been fine. But he's so nervous he couldn't do it. Bucky kills him, and he wakes up. No, there's a nice little detail too of Bucky laying on the floor. That was something that Sam Wilson and Captain America, something that a lot, like Captain America and Sam were talking about. Something that a lot of veterans say is how uncomfortable it is to lay on soft things when you've been away in war for a very long period of time, because you know it's not always you're not always going to be landing in the most comfortable environments, so you get used to laying in harsh, you know, conditions. You get used to sleeping in harsh conditions and on, you know, very hard things. So when you get back home, like sleeping on soft things, you feel like you're like it's something wrong, like your brain can't even process it yet. So it's nice to see Bucky feels the same as he sleeps on the floor. And he's going to this therapist who is working with him. The back and forth between him and the therapist is quite funny, but it really does get right down to it. Like you know, he kind of puts it all out there. That like I've been killing people for 90 years. I've been brainwashed and forced to kill people for 90 years. I haven't had a single moment of like peace. The only moment of peace I've had was in Wakanda for like a little bit, maybe like a couple months. I guess a couple years, really, for him. I guess a couple years, because he was in Wakanda for quite a bit, because like that took place at real time at the moment. So from 2016 to about 2018, so he had like 2 years of peace. So he had a little bit of calm in Wakanda, and then he was back in a fight. And like literally, the only thing he could think to do with himself, because the therapist pretty much goes, "You're free. Like, what are you gonna do?" The only thing he can think to do with himself is to right his wrongs, and he has this list that's very parallel. That runs kind of parallel with Steve Rogers' list, except Bucky's list is about. While Steve's list was about trying to what's the word I'm looking for? Make up for lost time, trying to adapt to the future, trying to getting used to the future, trying to, maneuver himself to be okay with the future. Bucky's list is about righting the wrongs of his past. And something that noted too is that he has in his book there's two different lists. One list for people who are bad and he needs to take down one way or the other. As they show it as an example, there's this senator he helped get in office who's an awful human being. So he just goes, she was an awful human being, so I'll help take her down. So he leaked all the information out on her and, walked up to her. Hi, my name is Bucky Barnes. I'm no longer a Winter Soldier. My name is Bucky Barnes. You are part of my amends. And he smiles at her as she's about to get arrested. So that was funny. But then there is this extremely heartbreaking sequence where Bucky befriends this older man. And like a lot of people, I assume too that this older man was one of those Captain America things. If you remember in Age of Ultron, Captain America had a bunch of friends who were old people, old veterans, because he had not because he could relate to, not only could he relate to them, but they're around his actual age. But that's not what happened here. That was definitely not the case. It turns out that this old man that he's hanging with is the son of the innocent man he shot in his nightmare. And he had moved next door to this man because he intends to make amends with him. He intends to tell him the truth. And as the old man kind of breaks down, like at a certain point while they're hanging out together at this restaurant, the old man kind of has a sad moment where he's talking about like his son, and like the thing that weighs on it seems like he's accepted that his son is dead. It's been years, he's accepted it. The thing that doesn't sit well with him is he doesn't know why or how, and they always kept it in the dark, and that's always bothered him. But meanwhile, Bucky's having a hard time telling him because it's easy to like take down some scumbags, who manipulated you. That's easy. But how do you stare someone in the face and tell them you killed their son? Even if you didn't do it. Like, one of the most iconic lines, at least my favorite lines, I think most underrated line in the MCU, no one really talks about enough, is there's a line in Civil War where Captain America, Iron Man has him in a choke lock and he asks him, did you even remember them? Meaning about his parents. And Bucky says, I remember all of them. And like, that's a line that I thought was beautiful, but it really takes more precedent. It really there's more weight put on it now. Especially now, because it's just so sad. It's so sad. You just wonder. It's so sad. You're just like, you don't want this, because they have such a good relationship. The old man helped them get a date, and there's funny bits about him being old. There's some funny bits there too on the date. But it is sad. It is sad, and you're just like, man, this is gonna suck when he has to tell him that. I just wonder how the old man's gonna react. I do. That's coming. It's already something on the table, and it's gonna be rough. Meanwhile, Sam is catching up with his family. Yes, Sam Wilson is an Uncle Sam, and his sister, Sarah, and apparently his family owns a shipping boat. Oh, not a shipping boat, a shrimp boat. I think they sell shrimp. I think that's their thing in Louisiana. Go figure. New Orleans? No, my bad. In New Orleans, which is ironic because that is where Anthony Mackie's from. Anthony Mackie is from New Orleans, so it's pretty funny that, they made his character from New Orleans. So that's just art imitating, real life right there. Because that's not where Sam Wilson's from in the comics, but I think they wanted to change it up to do something different. And I like this. The relationship between him and his sister is very interesting because it's the typical relationship. Not typical because, it's still entertaining and it's still well acted. But it is that relationship of Sam went away. Like the problem Sam and his sister are having with each other, and the problem that Sam is having, is a problem that would have existed even if he wasn't an Avenger. And I think that's the thing that makes this episode, this show, I hope they continue to do this, so interesting and just thinking. It makes me think, is the fact that a lot of the issues in the show, if you just took out the superhero stuff, it'd still be a very interesting show. It'd just be a show about these two men who are the thing is, Sam's sister's whole thing with him is, not only did you leave a long time ago, before you were the Falcon, you left me here with our parents, when we were younger, to go off and join the army. You left to go off and join the Air Force, or wherever he did. I think it was the army. And you left me here, and I had to take responsibility. I had to look after our parents. I had to take over this company, the shrimp boat company. I had to literally keep this boat afloat, our family business afloat, raise 2 kids. And then the 5-year blip happened, and I was by myself. I had to raise these 2 kids by myself. You weren't here. I had to keep this business going. And now you want to just come back like the conquering hero where you weren't here when I needed you the most. And that's Sam's sister's perspective, which is a valid perspective. But she wants to sell the boat because, not only is business even rougher now because half the population came back, which means half the people who were competition with her are back, which means a shit ton of people who might not have been there to be competition are now back. But she's just it's not selling like it used to. So she wants to sell the boat because she wants to sell the boat, but Sam doesn't want to sell the boat or the house. And the reason he doesn't want to do it because he keeps talking about how it's our legacy, it's our family legacy. This is what this is. It's clear that he doesn't want things to change. He doesn't want there to be he doesn't want to be the new Captain America because that's change. He doesn't want to lose his family's boat or house, not because, and it's become apparently obvious, especially when I've looked at other people's reviews, not because he's, what's the word I'm looking for? Not because he's trying to honor them, because he truly believes that. It's because he's scared of changing. He's scared of what it will be like without these things, and he doesn't want to find out. He's like, no, I want things to stay the same because I've missed so much. I don't want to lose anything else. I don't want things to change, and he's having a hard time coming to grips with that. And there's a great sequence in the bank, which is very true, and it slightly touches upon how a lot of African Americans have a tough time getting loans from banks. A little bit tougher over time than other people. Let's just say that. And like I said, it addresses that Avengers do not get paid, which is definitely a topic of conversation. But man, like I said, there's nothing too big. You see the introduction of the Flag Smashers. Clearly, they have some Super Soldier Serum stuff going on. and the Flag Smashers seem like a very tech-savvy organization. There's no sign of Zemo. There's no sign of a lot of things. But we do see the last shot is of the same guy who worked at that little Captain America Smithsonian thing, who were like, you did a good job. She presents the new Captain America, and down walks John Walker in a brand new Captain America outfit, and everyone instantly hates his face. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Copy Game Movie Show. I would give this episode, I'm gonna lie to you, I give it a 10. I've actually enjoyed this episode more than I enjoyed most of the WandaVision episodes. Most of them. But I just loved it, dude. I watched it 3 times. Like, I never watched, like, WandaVision, I watched certain episodes I'd go back and watch. I loved it, dude. I loved it. I loved the vibe. I loved the weight that he was feeling. Like, I dug it all the way, man. I dug it all the way. I had so much fun with that thing, man. I might go watch it again. Thank you guys for my Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.